Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with another topic talking about the NFL and the ascension of the black quarterbacks. Now, this weekend, there are three out of the four quarterbacks starting in the championships games this weekend are black quarterbacks. You have Patrick Mahomes, you have Jalen Hurts, and you have Jaden Daniels, the unlikely contestant or the unlikely participant in the championship games this weekend, as he is a rookie for the Washington Commanders. So I just want to touch on the history of the black quarterbacks and the evolution of the black quarterbacks. Now, for a little context, the black quarterback at first wasn't seen as a thing because they didn't think that black quarterbacks had the intelligence or the ability to lead a team. So it took some time for black quarterbacks to make their mark in the league and be able to give an opportunities to succeed in the league. They had to go to the Canadian Football League and do other things before they can be seen in that light. And the first black quarterback to ever start in the NFL was in 1968, which is Marlon Briscoe. So he was the first starting black quarterback. Then, you came along, you had, Doug Williams, you had Randall Cunningham. Now, Randall Cunningham was one of the first dual threat quarterbacks, the ability to run the football as well as pass the football. And he was very dynamic for that Philadelphia Eagles team. Doug Williams, he was the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. So, especially as a starter, I'm not sure if anybody else was on the team on the backup, but he was the first starting quarterback to win a Super Bowl for it used to be the Washington Redskins, which is the Washington Commanders now. He was a trendsetter. Like I said, he went to HBCU and made his rounds and was able to finally get an opportunity in NFL, and he won the first Super Bowl. So he set the mark for black quarterbacks to be able to succeed in the NFL, similar to what Marlon Briscoe did. And you have quarterbacks like Donovan McNabb, who was just consistent, a pocket passer, but he was also successful marketable. He was able to market himself to do the Campbell Soup commercials and do all these other things. He had that clean, squeaky kind of clean image in the league. And he was able to help other quarterbacks along the way for the league to see the NFL to be able to see black quarterbacks in that way. But then you think about a quarterback like Michael Vick, right? A dynamic quarterback. He was considered a running quarterback, but most people say he had a powerful arm as well. But he was also known for his elusiveness, to be able to juke defenders. The speed that he had, they was believed he had around 4.2 speed as a quarterback is insane. He could throw the ball over 50 yards. I remember in college when he was at Virginia Tech, they said he was the closest thing to sweetness, or also known as Walter Payton, one of the most dynamic running backs of all time. He was compared in that light. They had the Michael Vick experience in Atlanta. He set Atlanta ablaze when he was in the league, before, he had the off the field incident and had to go to Philadelphia Eagles. But before then, he was considered the best running quarterback of all time before Lamar Jackson came along. But then you have the Cam Newton who broke the mold, being a Heisman winner and also being able to be in a Super Bowl, and just his style and grace and his ability to be such a big quarterback, but be able to be a passer as well. He was a very good runner of the football, but he had an arm and he had a talent. I remember the film that they had of him, one of the defensive players thinking he had their play call figured out. Cam Newton said, okay, we'll see about that. And he ended up throwing a touchdown. It just showed his ability to read defenses and do all these things that they said black quarterbacks couldn't do originally. So you got to commend a guy like Cam Newton for that. And then you think about a Russell Wilson, the undersized quarterback who paved the way for smaller quarterbacks today, specifically African-American quarterbacks. Drew Brees was one of those quarterbacks that did that, standing at merely 6 foot. He was able to do that as well. You had anomalies like Doug Flutie, who was like 5'7", but he didn't last that long as a quarterback in the league. But Russell Wilson, you have to think he paved the way for like the Bryce Youngs and Kyler Murray. He was only about 5'10" in that same mold. He was able to Now, when people compare shorter quarterbacks, it was like, well, Russell Wilson did it. Now Kyler Murray can do it and things like that. So they're more prone now to draft quarterbacks under 6 foot. Now they used to want you to be prototypical 6'3", 6'4", 200 plus pounds. Now you can be shorter quarterbacks and still succeed. Patrick Mahomes, who had unrivaled early success and who has won 3 Super Bowls already in his young tenure, for him to with his arm talent to be able to showcase that in his smarts, to show that the black quarterback is relevant in the game, and to prove the doubters wrong. To some of the best quarterbacks in the game right now are black quarterbacks, and just the financial savvy that Mahomes had with his ownership of businesses, the contracts that he's constructed in this short time, he'll be set for life as well as his family. He's setting that mold for those quarterbacks and setting the value and setting the bar high. And then just to conclude with the new age quarterback, which Jayden Daniels is doing now. He's a Heisman winner as well. Signs of a new era, being able to get to the NFC Championship game when most people barely predicted them. Most people just projected they wouldn't even make the playoffs. But in the NFC as well, for them to be able to do this is just miraculous. And hopefully, Jayden Daniels just continues to ascend from this point. But I almost forgot. But you can't forget not Michael Vick, but Lamar Jackson, what he's done for the game. Heisman winner, 2-time NFL MVP. Hopefully, or maybe he'll be 3-time MVP this year. He's on the track to do so as well. One of the most, after Michael Vick, he surpassed Michael Vick as most rushing yards from a quarterback. So you have to put him up there as probably the best runner of the football as a quarterback. But his arm is catching up as well. The ability to throw with accuracy and the arm strength that he has. Now, he hasn't been able to get over the hump of that AFC Championship game, but hopefully in the near future he will. The team will hopefully continue to ascend, but hopefully he will continue to ascend as well as his game grows. As after he won the Heisman and went to college and NFL and tried to get drafted, most people wanted him to be a wide receiver. He was able to prove the doubters wrong and win 2 MVPs, win absorbing an amount of games in the NFL. Now his playoff success is still catching up, but it'll get there. But it takes a lot more than just one player to do that. But he shows tremendous growth from being just considered a runner of the football as a quarterback. He's a pocket passer as well. Most of the time now, he's not looking to run; he's looking to pass. And with the addition of Derrick Henry, he's been able to ascend even more this year. So I'm just hoping that the ascension of the black quarterback continues, and the opportunities and the platform is still there for these black quarterbacks to succeed, because they are breaking the mold right now. This is the golden era of the black quarterbacks and that we're seeing right now. But thanks for tuning into the Urban Scope podcast. Until next time, I'll see you next time.